The second half of spring storm season is about to kick into high gear. If we expand the view this morning on the North American 500 height anomaly, you can definitely see we've got a trough that's been highlighted across areas of the east. They're experiencing kind of chillier like air mass up here across New England, back into the northeast, as well as along the east coast and even portions of the southeast. But in the middle part of the country, we've got the moisture surge and the muggy air mass and the much warmer like conditions. And then out west, we continue to see more troughing out west, and that typically sets the stage for severe storms. And that, I think, is just the beginning stages of a very active period ahead. So if we look at the setup later on this afternoon, you can definitely see lower pressures highlighted across the Rockies. This low pressure will be swinging eastbound, and that will likely link up with some of the instability that's surging in from the south. Some of these Cape values are really starting to hit to some pretty high levels, over 3,000. That is usually significant with an area of low pressure right along the triple point up here into Nebraska, as well as into Iowa. We could be looking at some larger hail producer supercell thunderstorms that will likely break out into the heat of the afternoon. This is a hail-driven threat, and in fact, an upgrade to an enhanced risk of some significant severe storms, likely some larger hail producers, quarters, golf ball, even some ping pong size hail at times, back into the southeastern portions of Nebraska, including the Omaha region. Those will likely swing over to Des Moines. So I think things get going around after 4 or 5 o'clock this afternoon. We should start to see some isolated embedded supercell thunderstorms likely along this point, and those will slowly shift eastbound. So this is going to be an isolated event, but where you get under one of those supercells, yes, unfortunately, you could be looking at some larger hail, even some very larger hail approaching that 2-inch variety category. But look what the cold air is, and it's going to Easter weekend, and we do have a fairly decent cold front for this time of year as far as late April is concerned, and we could be looking at some snow that's flying across Wyoming, and that will swing into Colorado, and then the heavier rains shift further north into Minnesota, into Wisconsin. It will include Michigan, taking advantage of some of that higher moisture content, because we do have a deepening low. I mean, this trough really starts to dig into the desert Southwest, actually brings some beneficial rain to the areas of the Southwest, and out ahead of it, you can see the surge, the Southwest surge of moisture that is going to feed and tap into some of those higher dew points, the instability that's locked over the southern and central plains. That will likely set the stage for a round of showers and thunderstorms that likely turn severe, extends all the way a really long line of storms, essentially from northwest Texas, does include portions of Dallas, and into areas of the West Texas, back into the Oklahoma region, as well as into Tulsa, would include all the way up here into southeastern portions of Kansas, Missouri, back into Kansas City, getting into St. Louis, Springfield, and it surges well north into Indianapolis, Chicago, even Milwaukee, all the way to Grand Rapids, with these higher dew points surging well north, literally to the Canadian border. That puts this, all those areas into play because they've got a lot of moisture content to work with. The integrated water vapor transport index is hitting some pretty high levels, tapping into that southward surge and lifting and elevating and tapping into those warmer anomalies that's been highlighted across areas of the central and southern plains, getting all the way up into the Great Lakes. And that could spell more showers and thunderstorms that will likely turn severe on Saturday. Would include those areas all the way down into Texas, across Oklahoma, shifting into Illinois, Ohio, going all the way into the Great Lakes again. And then there's the cooler air with the snow flying over Colorado by then. Denver starts to get into the action, and even New Mexico, where we're going to experience some critical fire danger issues today, will all be a distant memory by the time we head into Saturday with that colder air and even some snow coming into those fire risk areas that will likely unfold today with the devastating high winds that are likely going to be over that region. But to set the stage for the weekend, as a lot of people probably have Easter plans coming into this weekend, and we could be looking at widespread showers and thunderstorms highlighted across central and north Texas, getting into Oklahoma, Missouri, back into Illinois, right ahead of the cold front in the warm sector. Yes, some of those could be some larger hail producers, some damaging winds, and an isolated tornado can't be ruled out, but all as well as heavy rainfall. And this is fairly significant with this kind of a slower moving cold front in the warm sector. Those areas across the green are in the marginal risk, could be looking at a 1/2 inch to 1.5 inches during the day over that 24-hour period on Saturday. Those areas into the yellow likely experiencing some 1 to 3 inch totals. But once you get up into the red areas, that is a moderate risk and could include 2 to upwards to 5 inches, even some isolated areas even higher than that across eastern portions of Oklahoma, northwestern Arkansas, back into Missouri. Those could look at some training thunderstorms, and some isolated flash flooding can't be ruled out. This is on top of the severe weather that's likely going to unfold on Saturday into Saturday night across this region, extending into the Dallas-Fort Worth area, West Texas, back into the San Antonio region, all the way up here into Oklahoma, Little Rock, into Springfield, upwards towards Paducah, out ahead of the cold front in the warm sector. Likely most of this is going to be in the evening time frame on Saturday night. Could be a bumpy ride across that region. That goes into your Easter morning. So this is be the early morning hours of the cold front moving through. On the backside, you're going to have falling temperatures, but out ahead of it, you're still going to be dealing with those showers and thunderstorms, some of those turning severe. And those will continue to shift east, southeast bound into your Easter morning. But there's the backside of the cool front, and you'll likely feel it. These are wind chills heading into your Easter Sunday morning, April the 20th here. Yeah, that's not a misprint, folks. That is 30s, feeling like 30s there in Oklahoma, even 40s back into the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So you'll see the sharp temperature gradient of like kind of a 30-degree drop, and feels like temperatures out ahead in the warm sector in the red area and the colder sector out behind it. So once this cold front hits your area, you're likely done with the severe storms and just kind of the leftover lighter rain before that moves out and you clearing out for the afternoon. But if you're in the warm sector still heading into your Easter Sunday, this continues to shift at least a little bit further east. 2 days ago, it was well further west, but the fast, more progressive front shifts this warm sector further east. So now it's including far east Texas into Shreveport, into Little Rock, back into Springfield. This is during the day on your Sunday into your Easter time frame. But there's the low pressure into Sunday night going into Monday morning. We'll have another significant low that comes up and then swings through areas of Michigan with more rounds of showers and thunderstorms. And then out ahead of it, you'll have that squall line kind of moving through. Backside, you'll have the cooler air filtering in on the backside. And then the rain and the warm sector out ahead of it through the Tennessee Valley, back into Kentucky where they desperately don't need any more rain, and as well as into Indiana. But what's significant going forward, and we kind of highlighted about this in another video, is the transition coming out of that weak La Nina and going into an Enso-Neutral, which is sometimes referred to as La Nada. Basically, it's these warmer waters that's been building across Peru. You can see these deepening reds that are starting to filter in off the areas of Peru, and that's starting to eat away some of those La Nina type conditions that we've been dealing with for the last 6 to 8 months. Now we're becoming more neutral. These waters are starting to warm up. They're becoming a little bit more average. There's definitely not as more blues showing up on the map. We're starting to eat away some of those blues and starting to return to more average light conditions into the equatorial Pacific. Now that's significant because that's going to link up and usually activates the subtropical jet stream at a time where you typically already are the wettest time of the year across the southern and central plains going into May. So it's the most active time, it's the wettest time, and it's the most active time for severe weather. And then you get the subtropical jet stream waking up at the same time. That is going to spell trouble with heavy rain and rounds of severe storms that are going to be inundated. It won't be every single day, but it's going to start getting really active heading into the end of April and going into the month of May because of the subtropical jet stream. It's definitely going to start waking up. I mean, you can see this is Hawaii. This is your subtropical jet, right? And so we're going to be having these systems with more troughing out west and tapping into the warm sector as these link up into the middle part of the country. Is going to take advantage of some of that moisture transport from the south and going to wring out the atmosphere. So at times we're going to be seeing some heavy rains, and then at times we're going to be seeing definitely some severe storms that could unleash some larger hail, damaging winds, and some isolated tornadoes with it as well. And that is likely going to surge well north up here across the Great Lakes, getting into Illinois, Michigan, into Wisconsin, back into the Michigan region. But look at the overall ensembles over the next 2 weeks from the European guidance. This is above average precipitation in one of the wetter times of the year. So yeah, that blue is pretty significant when you're starting to see 2, 3, upwards to 4 inches above average on top of what you already typically see this time of year. You're looking at a stormy and wet pattern for areas of Texas and Kansas and to areas of Oklahoma, Arkansas, back into Missouri, and that likely surges, tapping into the transport index, higher dew points and higher instability well north into Iowa, Minnesota, back into Wisconsin, and surges all the way up into southern Canada. So definitely look for this activity, this area to really wake up while you start to dry out into the northwest. And with the more areas of the southeast will likely start to kind of on a drier phase as well, and put most of the areas starting to shift west, where most of the activity is a little bit further east. These severe setups and the rain setups are going to be shifting and storm originating further west as we get into that second half of spring. So guys, I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video, definitely hit the subscribe button, and catch me next update while I protect you before and after the storm.